Hello and welcome to the first officially rebranded named Arsenal Sports episode. So today we are talking about whether the Los Angeles Clippers deserve to be mentioned among the other title contenders. So John, let's just talk about, to get our audience up to speed here, what they've done in the offseason to improve their team.
Right. Well, most recently they acquired Josh Smith, which was probably their best move so far, in my opinion, of the offseason. Also, they went ahead and they acquired Paul Pierce earlier, and they acquired Lance Stephenson in an offseason trade with with Charlotte for Matt Barnes and Spencer Hawes.
Yep.
So
they also made two little more underrated additions with Cole Aldrich from the New York Knicks and Wesley Johnson from the Los Angeles Lakers. I believe both of those were minimum deals.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, they've gotten three guys on the minimum so far this offseason, one guy to come in on the mid-level, and then they made the trade acquisition of Lance Stephenson. So, for all of the talk about Doc Rivers not knowing what he's doing, he's looked like a pretty, smart guy this offseason.
The jump between Vinny Del Negro and Doc Rivers has been fairly significant.
Yeah, I'd say, coaching-wise, yeah, but it was a little nerve-wracking at first seeing what he'd done GM-wise.
Yes.
He kind of messed up the Spencer Hawes thing. That wasn't looking great. It looked like for a bit, obviously, Deandre was going.
Yeah, he was leaving, yes.
And there was actually a little rumor that it was his daughter that got him to come back. I don't know if you heard about that.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Actually, they said, his daughter had talked to him. So it's funny, the whole Rivers family's into acting. They re-signed Austin, so I don't know. Things are going well out there so far. But now that we've mentioned that so far it's looking great for them.
Right.
We were talking about this earlier, and all the personalities that are in that Clippers locker room now.
Yeah.
How is this gonna work with Josh Smith, Lance Stephenson, Chris Paul?
Right.
You got DeAndre and Blake.
Right.
It's a lot of things going on. If they re-sign Big Baby.
Yeah. I think that's definitely. I mentioned it before when I was talking to you. That's the most interesting maybe part of their team, because are they going to be able to gel? Is Chris Paul? Everybody has this idea that Chris Paul is this kind of dictator in the locker room, and he challenges the guys, and maybe he's a little too much. At least Blake and DeAndre. That's the feeling that they get from him.
Right.
So is he going to be able to keep everybody in line? Is Lance going to try and do his own thing? What is this team going to be like? Can Doc and Chris Paul keep them together throughout the entire season?
So, do you think that the moves they've made this offseason make them a legitimate title contender?
I think it does. I think that they can compete with a Golden State or a San Antonio in 7 games. I think they'll have to probably play 7 games in each of those series. So they would be coming into the NBA Finals, as a projection, they'd be coming into the finals gassed, and they'd be pretty tired. But I think if they could possibly get there, they could possibly play a Cleveland in the East, and I think they could win. I think they would be tough. They'd definitely be the underdogs. But what do you think?
I would say that no. I would say no, because the thing for me is they would have to beat, hopefully for them,
yes,
two of Oklahoma City, most likely, barring injuries. The Warriors, 67 wins last year. No need to explain the Warriors.
Yes.
You got San Antonio adding Aldrich, re-signing all their big guys. And then maybe, a Memphis series if they're lucky.
Right.
Or a Houston series. So, and then even if they get past all that, they got to go beat LeBron. So, to me, I could see them beating one of those teams, but I just can't see them beating all of those teams.
I think that's fair.
And that's the reason for me, leaving them out in terms of being a true title contender. But I do think, of course, anything could happen. They could end up winning it. But looking at it realistically, if I were a betting man, I would say no. Okay. I would say they're not a title contender as of right now. And I just think it's going to be too hard. There's too many great teams out in the West, and they're just not quite up to par.
Okay, I think that the ceiling of the team is title contender. And that's where, when I'm projecting them to possibly get to the finals and play the Cavs, that's my thought is that they're going to, if they're healthy and they gel and Lance is playing like he played back in Indiana, if they're all playing really well together, then I think they could beat a Golden State. But if they're going to fall apart and they can't play together and they can't be a team, then I don't think they're gonna play well at all.
Now, into a trade that we were kind of bringing up earlier, a hypothetical trade of ours that we kind of, conjured up using the trade machine,
Right.
would be to use Jamal Crawford to get a Wilson Chandler. Now, this would be a three-team trade, involving Cleveland.
Yes.
So the way it would work is Jamal Crawford would be sent to Cleveland. Cleveland would send Brendan Hayward's contract, which is a non-guaranteed deal, which is important because Denver can just waive him and take on no new salary. And Denver would then ship Wilson Chandler to the Clippers, which would, in my opinion, change them from being a pretender, not really pretender, but like an outside shot, to actually having a legitimate chance because he's such a great wing defender. He can knock down the three and adds great versatility for them defensively. And I think that's where they need to improve the most. Yes. They're already the number one offense, and they've added Pierce and Stephenson, hopefully, who should be helpful in a better environment. And even Josh Smith on Houston last year showed that he can play well.
Right, he can play when they use him in the right role.
Yep.
Yes, and I think that perimeter defense is what they need more than anything.
Right, and I think that's what Wilson Chandler would come in and do for them. And I think it's a real reasonable thing that I'm sure they've already looked at. So you never know when things happen in the NBA, but with the Nuggets looking to, get rid of Ty Lawson, maybe try to acquire DeMarcus Cousins, that deal, depending on what happens in Sacramento and all that madness. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But that's our take on the Clippers. We're not sold on them completely being a title contender, but we do think it's a possibility.
Yeah, it is a strong possibility.
All right, so if you want to hear our take on any other NBA teams going into next season, let us know. Please subscribe to our channel. I know it seems like a big deal to you guys, but it's a big help for us, and it helps us get more content out to you. So thank you.